On this week's episode of Trade Talk, I'm interviewing my friend Stacey Zegers, real estate agent.
My name is Jessica Little, and I'm a born and raised Londoner. So the last few years, my clients have been asking me like if I knew a good tradesperson, and I was just like, well, my dad is one, but he's just always so busy. So I decided I wanted to help my clients in the local community by finding and showcasing kind, honest, trustworthy trades, people with accountability and prices that match their work. This is Trade Talk.
How's it going, Stace?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I'm really glad that you're here. I've known Stacey a long time.
Yeah.
I think we started our businesses around the same time, around 2019.
Yes.
But what people need to know is your investing started way before then. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that. And
Yes. So I'm a real estate investor. I started in 2007 with an apartment, basically, that I bought for $68,000.
Oh, yeah?
Good luck getting those prices nowadays.
Oh, yeah, right.
And every couple of years, I would just use the equity to buy sort of the next place and next place and next place. So it's funny because I don't think I purchased my first investment necessarily looking to build an empire, but just saw that the way the market kind of naturally runs and appreciates, and just felt really good about taking those steps and those risks, and it's kind of always paid off.
So how quick did you get your second property and third property and all that? I'm curious because I had rental properties too.
Yeah.
I've done rentals with my dad, as we've talked about over the years. So I'm just curious how long it took you to get those other ones.
Yeah, so I was 21. I was a musician and a bartender at the time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I didn't have a lot of money, a little bit of help from my parents. And so it took me a few years.
Yeah.
And I would say it was probably 2 or 3 years between the first and second property. Then I bought my third one relatively quickly. It just so happened that we had enough equity, and the listing agent kind of had 2 properties that once he heard what we were looking for and he sold us the first, he was like, well, I also have this second one. Kudos to him, good salesperson.
Yeah.
So we kind of built up from there. And then I remember the next thing that I wanted, which was, I want to say 4 years later, 3-4 years later, was a triplex, and it was $169,000, and I was losing it.
Was that in London here?
In London,
okay.
yeah.
So
and
did you do most of these in London? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
To that point, it was all in London.
Okay, yeah.
So it was the first time I'd spent over $100,000, and I was losing it because I was so worried about spending that money. And I had a mentor at the time who had a really good spreadsheet to run numbers.
Yeah.
And he basically was like, do the numbers make sense? And it was going to cash flow $400 a month or so.
Yeah.
And I was, yeah, it did. He was like, then you need to let the fear go.
Yeah.
And you just need to go for it. So we did.
So it covered all of your bills, plus you made a profit on top of it?
$400
Oh, that was my first place. I had like a 5-bedroom rental, and then I made profit on top, plus it paid my mortgage. So, okay. So that was like my first property like that.
And it was a lot easier to do then.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, we just purchased a bigger property, and we're happy to break even, because the way I look at it now, interest rates are so high, so we're paying 6.5% on that property commercially.
Okay.
And so I feel like, once interest rates come down and I refinance in a couple of years and we turn over a few units, then we'll be in a really good cash flow positive place. So it's the first time out of, almost 10 properties where I've not lost money, but broken even. But I think the upside on it, based on interest rates coming down and people moving out, and then, having the higher market rents, will work out in the long run. And usually I buy long term. I'm not looking to make a quick buck. I've only done one flip. So I think when you look at real estate investing long term, historically, it's only ever gone up.
Yeah.
I mean, I can never guarantee people that that's what the near future will hold. But you've
seen so many like peaks and valleys that you're like not as scared anymore about things. As a consumer, we're just like, oh geez, like what should we do here? But you're just like, oh, it'll work itself out,
Yeah, and I mean, I think that has a lot to do with social media.
Yeah.
Like people can just be bombarded by positive or negative information depending on what you follow and how your algorithm works, right? Whereas starting in 2007, it was honestly like a couple bucks and a gut feeling that I went on, and we'd always buy properties that needed renovations.
Yeah.
So now they call that the BRRRR method, which is hilarious because I never knew what
BRRRR?
Yeah, right. right? You've
Yep.
probably done it too.
I think of burrs, you know, when they
Yeah.
burrs.
No. So it's
You know,
buy,
cheesy. I'm gonna just say stuff off the cuff.
renovate, rent out, refinance.
Okay.
But you and I were doing that before there was a funny name.
Yeah, my
to it.
dad, like, once I was 14, I was like putting up drywall with my dad. Like,
Yeah.
we started like young doing stuff. I had a rental, like, I think 10 years ago I started. I had like
Yeah.
five bedroom rental, and I've helped with my dad with all his 45 tenants all those years. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I don't know what all those terms are. I still don't know any of them. I just know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the big thing
Yeah.
with real estate investing is, you run your numbers and you run them very strictly, and you don't try not to leave too much room for error, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to have a 0% vacancy rate, because if somebody moves out,
Yes.
you need to factor in for that, right?
Yeah.
You almost nowadays too, or if you bought in the last year, need to factor for interest rates going up a little bit
Yeah.
more, especially if you're in a variable rate.
Oh, yeah.
So I think if you're really smart about that, then you kind of have your bases covered. And I think once you start doing that, that's where you end up with this kind of no cash flow unless you can get a good deal. So if your budget only allows you $200,000, then that's what you're working with, right?
Yes.
And so if you can make the numbers work with an apartment, then that's amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe you also look out of town or whatever, but if you have a $500,000-$600,000 budget,
Yeah.
maybe a triplex or duplex or something like that makes a lot more sense
Yeah.
for you, because like you said, you're not paying condo fees, then maybe you don't necessarily have electric heat.
Yeah.
You have a lot more control. The other thing is that for people who are looking into investing is a lot of people are looking for that vacant property.
Yeah.
Right? So that you can choose your own tenants, you can set your market
Yes.
rates and things like that, because if you have long-term
They're
tenants.
grandfathered in at different rates, and then you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so the thing is, if somebody buys like a triplex or something, say somebody's starting out doing investing, they could live in the one section of it too, right? They could
Yes.
have like 2 other tenants there, and then they can live in it. So that's what a lot of people do. That's a little lower risk, right?
Exactly. And to throw another term at you that both you and I have never heard before, but is really cool nowadays, is house hacking.
Okay.
So what a lot of people do is what's called house hacking. So maybe your first property, you can get up to 4 units, so a fourplex, and still have it considered under like the residential interest rates, the 5% down. So if you were lucky enough
because
to
you're
find-
living in there, it's
because
your
you're-
residential mortgage then.
Yeah, and it's your primary residence. So then
snap.
you have these mortgage helpers,
Yeah.
right, who are helping you pay your mortgage and things like that. And that also allows people, and I've done it myself, to build from that, duplex, triplex, to 12 units, to 15 units, to 24 units, and just keep on building up, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe you live for free while your tenants are paying you, but maybe you have a full-time job making $50,000 a year.
Well, it's like
whatever
passive
your
income, right? Like that's the way to go. Yeah. So what would be your favorite aspect of real estate? Well, we know it's investing, but what would be the other things? Like, I know you're really friendly, and so the reason I started this show is because I have a business.
Yeah.
And women were coming and saying, where do I get like other things that I don't do?
Yes.
And where do I get like contractors or tradespeople or people that deal with homes? And I was trying to come up with a group of people who are doing right by people, who were honest, moral, and everything. And so like I chose you because I know you very well and you're like kind. So I would say maybe is one of the aspects of doing real estate like your favorite, like interacting with people. Is that like one of your? I feel like it's one of them, but yeah.
Yeah, I love meeting new people. I would say, other than the investing, one thing that I've really gotten passionate about is actually helping first-time home buyers who've recently immigrated. Because I
have
feel,
you?
I help a lot of people who've recently immigrated, and I just feel like, you never know who's out there and what kind of information they're going to give you, and what kind of guidance they're going to give you. And I'm just trying to be as positive and as honest as possible to people to help them make that decision. And a lot of the times, back to the house hacking and stuff, is I do find people are looking for those opportunities. Like, we make X amount of dollars and we can afford this house, but if we can rent out a basement, if we can rent out a couple rooms, it will help us, purchase the next place. And then I get excited because I'm like, okay, well, not only are you like you're purchasing your first home ever, which is great to be a part of that journey, but also your goal is to have a second or a third or a fourth place, which is amazing for long-term wealth, right?
Yeah.
So it's turned into a lot of clients like that who
Really?
recently
That's
moved
interesting.
to the country.
And that's like referral based, right? Because that's what a lot of my clients are too.
Yeah.
You probably have like a lot of people referring each other because they know that you do that. It's like your niche thing, right?
Yeah, I
that's
do,
cool.
and just people find me on Instagram and all of that
yeah,
stuff.
So it's a mix of everything.
It's a mix of everything, and I think my approach, again, back to social media, is that it can be very overwhelming. There's people out there who are like, I bought 100 places in 1 year and I used other people's money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about that.
Yeah.
I took a very slow walk to get where I am today. And so I think it feels more down to earth and it feels more natural if somebody's like, okay, well, we want a second place, but it'll probably take us 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm here to help you whether it takes 2 years or it takes 30 years.
Yeah. Well, that's realistic because this world, like, we don't even have time to get the change out of our wallet before we get our coffee.
Yeah.
So it's good if people are realistic, and it might be hard dealing with some people that don't have those realistic expectations. So you have to set those for them, right?
Yeah.
Because we just get what we want whenever we want. So like, we have to wait the long game. Like, I'm in my 40s, so I write handwritten lists, and I still boil my water on the stove. So yeah, setting expectations, but it's good that they have those. So
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, good. So, okay, so what do you see kind of like the trends going towards the end of this summer, kind of like for real estate and mortgage rates and stuff like that? If you want to answer that question.
Yeah, that's okay. Obviously, I
Yeah.
don't have a crystal ball.
Yes,
and I can't
exactly.
tell you 100%.
But I know you're always on the pulse, so yeah.
I try to be on the pulse. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we just had 2 interest rate hikes.
Okay.
They are anticipating another 0.25% in September. Mind you, we did hit 2.8% inflation in the month of June.
Okay.
So I think either they will do that rate hike if we don't see that happen again in July and August, because a lot of that had to do with gas prices.
Okay.
But home prices raised that. We have stayed steady for the past few months. So people in 2022 who took a break, we basically saw our low in January of $560,000.
Oh yeah, okay.
Dollars.
Remember
for
we
the
were talking about
average.
that when I was thinking about selling mine.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And it's gone up probably about 15% since then. So we're in the 650s to 670 range.
Oh.
I think that'll stay steady for the next few months. And historically, August is usually a quieter month.
Okay.
People are taking their kids on vacation. They don't want to think about buying a home. And then into mid-September, October, you see people getting ready to list again.
Okay.
So I think if we look at the last few years, you're probably going to see it stay relatively steady. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And then if we start to see interest rates drop, into November, December, January, or see them stay steady and the buyer confidence stays, then I think we'll see prices raise up a little bit. Because the other thing that you have to factor in is, of the 1 million people who moved to Canada last year, like got their permanent residency or immigrated.
Is that how many it was? Around 1 million?
1.2 million. 500,000 of those people live in Ontario.
Oh, really?
And we're already 1.5 million houses short in Canada for what we need for our population, and only
really?
200,000 houses were built in 2022.
See, you always know the numbers.
So don't take all those exact numbers,
No.
but it's in that range.
I don't even bother Googling, so I was just go to you.
and so yes, we're very short on housing and we're short on supply. And what happens when you're short on supply? Prices raise, because it kind of makes no sense that the prices have come up so much with a 5% interest rate when 2 years ago when we're about 6% higher than we were in 2021 June. Prices were like 1.5%, right? So we still have seen an appreciation of almost 6%, but then we've seen a 4% or a 3.5% appreciation in interest rates.
Yes. Oh,
But I mean, to put things in perspective, again, when I bought my first property in 2007, I paid 5.5% because that's just what the rate was.
Yeah.
We've been here before. It's just that houses are so much more expensive.
yeah. Okay, so I just want to say thank you so much for coming out. You know, I always enjoy being with you and talking with you. So I just want to know, where do people find you? How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, awesome. So I'm Stacey Zegers. You can find me at the Realty firm Prestige Brokerage. You can find me online at staceyzegers.com or on Instagram at Stacey Zegers Realtor.
And you got really cool Instagram stuff. I actually found you because you were playing the guitar. And
Oh,
you were-
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you have some cool stuff. Okay, so mandatory with the show, we either have to do a handshake or a dance. And we
Okay.
chose a handshake, so
Yeah.
we're gonna do this cool little handshake.
Okay, ready?
Okay, we're not gonna get this perfect, but boom. I'm gonna do it. Cass from Pride Contracting, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, really
Good.
good.
I'm glad to have you guys out.
Yeah, this is a pretty sweet gym. I've loved the gym since I was little, so this is like my dream here.
You know what? It's for my wife. She's a firefighter.
Yeah.
But obviously I had to build it for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, something to keep us busy.
Did she help you?
You know what? No, she didn't. She did not. Actually, she helped me put the equipment together, but
Okay.
the building stuff, she kind of leaves that for the crew and I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the boys came and helped you too. Then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All hands on deck when it's your own house, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's got to be
sure.
perfect. Well, everything has to be perfect.
Well, you know what? Perfect for customers' houses, but
Yeah.
usually when it comes to ours,
Yeah.
the perfect things take like time and, effort. And you never have enough time for your own stuff.
it's more functional.
There's a lot of things like the broken mirror that needs to be fixed and a few things that you'll find around here, but don't judge me.
It's pretty organized, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, my dad has rental properties, and I've like been in tenants places since I was like 14. So like this is like organized.
Okay, all right.
Believe me, I know.
Make me feel good. Tell
Yeah.
that to my wife. But
But yeah, so basically my brother referred me to you because I wanted to like showcase people who are doing right by people, who are accountable, doing good work, and so he referred me to you, and I kind of wanted to know how you got started, like what your background is, and yeah.
Well, my background, believe it or not, is not in construction. I used to work for Costco. I was a full-time manager at Costco, working their merchandising floor. And it started out as a hobby. Friends of mine were home builders. I started getting into buying houses, and you know what? I was like, let's get some sweat equity into the houses. Before you know it, you do your own basement, you do your own deck, and neighbors see, hey, can you come and do mine? And before you know it, that word of mouth just snowballs.
Oh.
So for, I'd say like 10 years, I would work Costco managing full time, and then I would be doing construction afterwards.
Okay.
And to the point where, you develop a name and reputation, and boom, next thing you know, I'm kind of doing more work outside of Costco, and then I was like, you know what, let's just go full on into construction. And I'm lucky and fortunate that a lot of friends and family in the business that, kind of help guide me and, help me through. You run into something that you don't know, and you want to do it the right way.
So you ask the
ask
people that
questions,
know,
ask people that know. When it comes to roofing, when we did this place, we had to do a flat roof, and I'm like, Matt, like, what do we do here? Like, how are we going to make this work? So he came, and and that's how you learn, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. And if you're around a lot of people that can do that,
your sub trades a lot of times are friends and family, like just pulling.
yeah, well, that's where Pride Contracting comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So my business partner is my first cousin. I have my brothers working with me. I have other cousins working with me, and we're a tight-knit group. And even like most of our trades are friends, guys that we grew up with, played basketball with, this or that. But good guys, because it's hard to find good people.
Well, yeah.
And so that's where Pride came from. We're like a tight-knit family, and that's. And I wanted a lion logo, so hence the hats, right? You can see the embroidered hats that we got done up. All of our work has been through word of mouth. Like I said, I started doing my own houses and just small jobs here and there. And then one person told the next person and kept going and going and going. And right now, every job we do leads to another job.
Oh, that's good.
We're not on Instagram yet. Our website's not up yet, but our reputation is there.
Yeah.
And that's just through treating people right, doing good work, and that's the way we like to keep it. So it's going well.
Yeah, and that's the way to lead with. That's what I believe, really.
And now, we're getting into more, crazier projects like this. Not everybody's building a huge gym in their backyard.
So it's still residential, but you're doing a lot of like project for the
you name it.
resident. Okay.
Yeah, pool
Decks
cabanas,
and
decks,
the book
a
of
lot of outdoor living, right?
Oh,
because especially through COVID,
Oh, yeah.
everybody was staying at home.
Yeah.
So if you're not traveling, you want to make your home as enjoyable
Yeah,
as
if you want to have people over, but you still want to socially
absolutely,
distance. Yeah.
absolutely. Like you can see, can we walk this way?
Yeah, yeah.
Come check out.
Let's do it.
This is where we hang out.
See, I really love this. And you built all of this too, so this ties
So
in
we
with the
did everything
contract.
out here.
Yeah.
From the retractable screens. So these guys just
Yeah, it comes just down,
Right.
eh?
up and down, right? So you can stop it where you want it. But I mean, this time of year, the mosquitoes are really bad. And then in the winter time, you bring the screens down, put the heaters on, put the
Yeah.
fireplace on, and it's
So with the mosquitoes, this has enough holes in it so that the breeze still
the
comes.
air will still come through.
Yeah.
I mean, in the winter, it's still cold in here without the heaters.
Yeah.
But it does help hold the air in place. So it's a great, and it's something that a lot of people are doing because they want to have that all year round living, you know, and then the fireplace.
This is awesome. I
right?
knew someone that had one of these, and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Outdoor fireplaces, custom stonework,
Oh yeah.
you know, open
that's
flame
awesome.
fire. So there's lots of things that we can do and we're capable of, but everything comes down to money and budgets, right?
yeah.
Because it costs a lot of money to do all these things. Stonework right now is crazy. Hardy board is crazy. But you gotta splurge every now and then.
Well, yeah.
Right?
And the thing is, if somebody wants something and it maybe hasn't been something you did, you'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, let me see what I can do, and then you just
Absolutely.
keep going
Well,
from there.
we're always down to try new things.
Oh, yeah.
And if we don't know specifically how to do things, we have all the resources available
Yeah.
to us, and we can find out, ask the right questions.
It's just like
find the right products.
troubleshooting, figuring it out
Well,
what works.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm a fair person, so like if it's something that is like completely out of my league, but customers are willing to try. Like there's been a few times where, you know, I've had to eat some cost just to try to make it right and make
Research
sure.
and development got
Well,
in the
you know
way.
what? Sometimes just so even if I'm not making money, there's value in doing something that's new because you're going to get that knowledge. So, you know, if you're not greedy, then it's okay.
It's value added
But
for you,
if
because
you're
it's
looking
like
at it as numbers, you know, dollars and cents, you talk to the accountant, he's not going to agree. But that's why he's an accountant and I'm a general contractor, right?
Well, and the reason that you've grown without Instagram and all these other things is because
Right,
of word of
right.
mouth, and you're doing right by people. And even if there's something you have to learn or grow on, that you know, you just keep transparency with.
And that's big for us too, like giving people value, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not the cheapest, but we're definitely not the most expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like bang for your buck, we're gonna do a pretty top end job for what we charge. You know, there's a lot of bigger companies, a lot more overhead than us, but you know, I just try to be fair. And the biggest thing for me too is I'll be transparent. You know, a lot of people wonder, how much are you making on the job? You know, everybody always wants to know like how much you're making on the job. How much am I charging for labor? You know, most people are like, well, we'll buy the materials, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't have an issue because I'm not looking to mark up the material, which most people generally are trying to do.
I know.
So we're trying to be transparent with people, let people be in control of their own costs.
Yeah.
And we usually work at a flat rate.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
it's
That's
very
like,
it's very
very
easy to
transparent.
calculate. You know, if you want to spend $10,000 on stone, spend $10,000 on stone.
Yeah.
I don't need to charge you $12,000 because I want to make money on the stone, because really.
Yeah, so then they know this is a flat rate for your labor, and this
Correct.
is what this costs. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, and that's why like when people are in control of their monies and you're transparent with them, okay, we're gonna buy you patio furniture, or we're gonna supply it, and you have an allowance. Well, you can go out and pick exactly what furniture you want and how much it's going to cost you. You know, you can go and buy $2,000 chairs, or you can buy $20 chairs, right? You're in control.
And you'd have different customers who would want you to just do, and others that would want the control. Like, it just depends on the person.
Correct. But even though I would leave like an allowance for things.
Okay.
So you can go and make your selections without having to go and purchase it yourself. And I mean, some people let us make the decisions, which is even better, but most cases it's not the case.
Oh, okay.
Right. Usually, you know, we're working with a lot of designers, and it's great. It's great. The designers are great. They make our life much easier.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because sometimes
They have
just
the
making
programs and they set it up for you.
not only the programs, but even just giving people shopping for people, giving people ideas for materials and products, because they have experience using these products and what will look good. It's
Just the actual
hard.
finishings and everything,
Exactly,
not
it's
just
hard.
the design and
Yeah, and we're doing that as well. We're doing renderings. We're doing full renders that you can actually physically see what it's going to look like.
Oh, like on
with
HGTV, how they do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're doing that
Absolutely.
plus, and then they
Absolutely.
put different finishes.
Now,
and
again, it's not something that we just include. It's an option. So, because like everything costs money. So if you're gonna get a render, you know, I don't do it myself. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
But that person that is gonna spend the time to do that 3, 4, 5 hours, I mean, they got to be paid for it, right?
Yeah,
Nobody's working for free. So
Yeah.
it's all up to the customer. We try to be like full service type.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you need, we'll take care of. We're working on projects now where
I was just gonna
people
ask
are
what
away
you're
on
working on.
vacation.
Okay. Yeah.
They're living in the house, so we got to move furniture around. We got to move. We got to clean up people's mess. You know, we got to do all kinds of stuff. But if that's what it takes, then we're there. We're there.
Oh, yeah, you
right?
know,
Yeah.
you just gotta do what it has to be done.
You know,
that's,
if you go,
that's the mentality, right?
if you go above and beyond, people will appreciate that. And they'll develop a trust for you. And that's why I'm getting referrals.
And you know what's
People-
nice to have your own business
Yeah.
because you can do right by people. You can do kind things.
right.
You can go to your way. Like when I worked,
100%.
when I used to work for people, I would be stifled in a lot of ways, and I want to show my heart and give things to people that I couldn't do. So when you have your own business, you can make those decisions, which is like so nice. And I
we're
can
in
tell in your eyes that that makes you happy. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
well, that's why
you're
we do it.
passionate. Your eyes
That's
are lit
why
up for it.
we enjoy what we do. So
Yeah.
counting hours doesn't matter
Yeah.
anymore. Punching a clock doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, and money isn't everything.
If I calculated how many hours I worked, believe me, I'm making less than minimum wage. I'm not making good money. But I don't count my hours because I enjoy what I'm doing. Like it's
And the experience, and you're learning
Yeah.
new things. You're growing
Absolutely.
constantly. You're doing
Absolutely.
bigger and bigger things. And
Absolutely.
so right now, you said you like it, so you're really controlled and you know what the projects look like. So do you have guys that you like trust to do other projects? Or are you always kind of overseeing all of them?
So I go to every one of my sites every day.
Good.
I go every day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that contractor that's I'm gonna get the job, Jessica, we're gonna do this reno, and then you never see me again until time to pay, right? Because that happens as well.
does.
But no, I'm at my sites every day.
Yeah.
So I drive a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we usually try to keep it between 4 to 6 jobs max at once.
Oh,
so I have
so you have enough guys doing that.
I have a good crew.
Oh.
Like they're working right now.
Okay.
So while I'm here chatting with you, they're working. They're at a site right now.
Okay.
Multiple sites.
Yeah.
So we're
So you have quite a few projects going on at once.
yeah
Oh,
for
cool.
sure.
All right, so how can people find you after having this interview with you? People are going to want to
Yeah, look us up www.pridecontracting.ca.
Yeah.
You can find all of our contact information on there.
Okay.
And you know what? Just ask your friends. They'll probably have my number. They'll have heard of us. We're getting around
that. I
pretty
like
quick.
that.
You know,
That was good.
small town.
That's right. I like that.
Yeah.
Because if you do work, that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
a handshake means something to you, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Handshake.
Yeah. Anyways, well, speaking of that was a good segue, wasn't it? So, with every show, I either give you a choice of a handshake or of a dance. Which one? do you
Definitely not dancing. Not dancing.
All right.
Not dancing.
You ready
Okay,
for the handshake?
All right.
Okay. You remember it?
Oh,
Boom, boom, boom. Brush that dirt off your shoulders.
sure.
Anyways, thank you so much, and I'll
It was
give you a high
pleasant,
five. Oh, yeah. I know.